Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Aujourd'hui on se retrouve pour une nouvelle vidéo CSI Les Experts sur PC. Et nous allons donc faire la troisième enquête, après une deuxième un peu rotor. Il est vrai qu'il y a plein de choses qu'on peut rater. Alors la troisième, je vous dis tout de suite, elle est réalisable facilement à 100%. Là je l'ai faite une fois pour m'échauffer et une fois pour la capture. J'ai fait tout le temps à 100%.
Patrol Officer James Garvey has been murdered. As a new CSI, this is your first cop killing. Unfortunately, it's probably not your last. Work fast and careful. Tropicana Avenue, go.
Ah bah c'est parti, direct sur le lieu.
The body and the patrol car aren't going to be here much longer, so we need to check them both. Like Chris said, fast but careful. To serve and protect. And sometimes, this is the reward. We'll never have more important work to do than this. Hey, before we get started, I want to introduce myself. I'm Nick Stokes. I've heard a lot of good things about you from Sarah, so let's work quick to nail this creep.
Bon, là, tout est à portée de main, j'ai envie de dire.
Severe head trauma like this.
On commence tout de suite par le corps. Hein.
Something hard's probably the weapon. We'll cast to the wound. It'll help determine what caused it.
Et donc, un petit moulage de blessure. Il me semble que c'est la première fois qu'on utilise cet outil.
Beaten over the head, 2 gunshot wounds to the chest. Man, somebody didn't want Officer Garvey walking away from this one. No sign of exit wounds.
Ouais, cette mission, en fait, tout a l'air logique hein, quand on fait, donc c'est pour ça que le 100% est facilement réalisable.
We can't use that here.
Vous allez voir que les autres, c'est compliqué. Hein. Bon, nous avons fini avec le corps, pas grand chose à voir. Une blessure sur la tête et les trous de balles. Sans mauvais genou, bien sûr.
32 caliber mag. Probably Garvey's own piece, but we'll have to confirm that.
Et bien sûr, comment on fait pour confirmer ça? Ah, le plumeau aux empreintes. C'est peut-être l'outil que vous servez le plus avec le gant et la pince à épiler. Voilà.
All of the rounds are accounted for. I'd say it wasn't fired recently.
Donc, on va jeter un petit coup d'œil dans la voiture.
They'll be throwing this baby away soon, so we need to get to work fast. There could be something important in here.
Ah, 3 choses à voir dans la voiture.
This is another cop's ID.
Voilà, donc une carte de
Jeffrey
permis.
Deschamps. And check out the date of birth. Deschamps is a 72-year-old cop? I don't think so.
Important.
It's blank, but maybe Greg can lift an imprint off it.
Le petit calepin, on prend la première feuille. Vous savez, un grand classique hein, de gratouiller au crayon. Faut savoir ce qu'il y a écrit
We can't
dessus.
use that here. Peculiar stain. Wiped, maybe? Be nice to know what it
Et il
is.
s'est fait pipi dessus dans la voiture? Non. On a quand même analysé ce que c'était. Mais pour vérifier. Voilà. Notre petit luminol. Qu'on avait vu lors de la première enquête.
Okay, Luminol says we got a blood stain. Tried to wipe it off, but like the man said, blood tells.
Bon, de mémoire, on a quand même ramassé également le sang qu'il y avait à côté. Et il n'y a plus rien d'autre à faire dans la voiture. Et il n'y a plus rien d'autre à faire tout court. Ah, si, on a oublié le plus important, le démon de pneu. Donc on pourrait le prendre, mais il y a quand même quelque chose à voir. Oui, c'est tout petit, là. Et c'est con à dire, mais c'est l'indice clé, hein.
Someone could have been holding this tire iron as a weapon. At some point, this thread could have snagged on here if it brushed by their clothes.
Mais je crois que vous êtes obligé de le trouver. Si vous devez le ramasser, il va vous dire vous avez peut-être oublié quelque chose, non? Parce que c'est vraiment un indice clé. C'est pas comme la flaque de sang, là. Ici. Que si vous oubliez, c'est pas très grave. Hein.
Was there something you wanted?
Bon, bah oui. Hein.
Despite the power of the blow to the head, the officer was still alive. Unconscious maybe, but breathing. The 2 bullets in the chest put a stop to that. Both bullets entered through the chest. Stippling is consistent with being shot at close to medium range. One struck the left lung and lodged there. Other hit the left second rib, deflected down through the stomach into the upper intestines. We recovered.
Je rigole, mais moi ça me fait penser à un sketch de François Pérusse où le Toubi me dit la trajet de la balle et ça finit sur une autoroute. Enfin, c'est n'importe quoi.
I'd say no more than 3 or 4 hours ago. Pulling the scalp back revealed a basal skull fracture. Combined with conjunctival hemorrhaging, we have a forceful blow to the head. Hard, slender object, like an iron rod.
On commande des montes-pneus, par hasard.
Well, I'd say it's a pretty good match to the skull fracture.
Oh, je suis un détective.
What do you need?
Ah, t'as pas de lagounette à faire aujourd'hui, toi?
Those oldies but baddies? 44 caliber, 30 to 35 years ripe. Of course, they could be reloads. There were a few tiny spatters of blood on the tire iron. Matches Garvey's. Garvey's weapon, clean barrel, fully loaded, not fired recently. I used an electrostatic detection apparatus to see if the previous page's message made a big impression. Sorta like I do. Here's what came up. Tropicana Avenue, car on roadside, needs assistance.
Ouais. Pas grand chose à se mettre sous la dent.
This ID isn't legit. It's a forgery. Pretty good one, too.
T'es sûr de ton coup que c'est une fausse?
Cotton. Red dye present but faded. Got another sample I can compare it to? So you figure this blood came from the killer?
No, I don't second guess you, Greg. I'd never hear the end of it.
Wise move. We have a boar here. Casting no aspersions on present company. This is sus scrofa, blood of a wild boar. Pig blood.
Ouais.
Sorry. Can't do anything with
Reste
that.
dans le doute.
Pig's blood again. Genetically identical, and a decay rate comparison is a match.
Donc il y a du sang de cochon.
The cast of the wound indicates something slim, tubular.
Allez, la dernière preuve analysée, les empreintes. Preuve dernière.
Well, this is no shock. Our dead officer's prints are on his own weapon.
Il y a quand même une autre preuve analysée, c'est la carte de Monsieur Deschamps, et pas Didier. Hein. Ah.
I really don't like where this is going. Officer Jeffrey Deschamps killed along the roadside helping a motorist with a flat 30 years ago. Unsolved. M.O.? Deja vu all over again.
Déjà vu.
A tire iron. Pool of blood. Blank notepad. Murder weapon. A .44 Magnum. In the grass under the patrol car. Only upside, it's a lead. We should check the crime scene again. See if there's a gun under where the car was.
Ben ouais, bonne idée.
Looks like they towed the patrol car away.
Mais je reste perplexe, hein. Les mecs ils ont enlevé la voiture, ils sont pas dit tiens, il y a une arme là. Peut-être appeler la police.
Gunpowder in the barrel.
Les experts plutôt.
Mag short 3 rounds, one in the chamber. Probably fired recently, twice. This is a staged crime scene.
Non, il n'y a pas d'empreinte là.
There's no prints here.
Zut. Ça aurait été trop facile. Hein. Voilà. Rien d'autre à voir.
Are you ready for this? Some freaks on crimechat.com knowing way too much about our cop killing. Hit the lab computer. I sent a link to the desktop to get you directly into the chat.
On va voir le chat.
Sick. We can't find this guy fast enough.
Here's the ballistics report on our late officer's wounds. This 44 mag's a perfect match. You have your murder weapon.
Bon, bah il nous reste à voir le capitaine, hein.
Yes? Sure, I'll cross your T's and dot your Com's for you. Site owner Jack Riley, apartment on Mountain Vista Street, crosses Tropicana. Close to our crime scene.
Mr. Riley?
Bonjour, Jack.
Riley?
That's me. What's up?
You're with the Las Vegas Crime Lab? I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about this shooting near your place.
Probably about as much as you? Thanks to Sutherland. Maybe even a bit more, since you probably don't study classic unsolved murders like the Deschamps case.
Ouais, d'entrée, un fion direct. Hein.
Same as the other 4,000 some anonymous users who post at my site. Zippo. They don't use real names, you know?
Il va me prendre pour un con très longtemps, lui.
You probably already know I do if you checked your records. But you should also know I reported it stolen a few months back. Had a party and somebody got in my gun case and helped him or herself. As for suspects, I had 35 of my closest friends over.
Non mais tu mens toi, t'as pas 35 amis, hein.
You know there is, if you're a CSI or squad. Unique IP addresses identify the computer he was using. But I got privacy issues here with my users. No warrant, no IP address. Listen, I don't mind cooperating, and I got nothing to hide, but I also know my rights. No warrant, no entry.
Pas de problème, on va te trouver ça, tu vas voir.
What do you need?
Donc il faut aller voir le capitaine pour se avoir mandat.
Yes. Riley's hosting the website where somebody's bragging about this killing. Plus, Jackie Boy owns a gun that matches the murder weapon. Isn't a judge in town who won't let us check that apartment.
Ouais, il va moins faire le malin, Jack, hein.
What a shock. Cop goes down, so does the Bill of Rights. Go ahead, go inside. For all the good it'll do ya.
Bah oui, si t'avais rien à te reprocher, hein. Pas besoin d'aller chercher un mandat.
Caffeinated hacker fuel. He seems to have some brand loyalty. Try using a similar tool.
Vous me trompez. C'est pour le papier, du coup. Un petit spray. Nifloril, je crois.
Condensation messes with the quality of prints we can lift. Don't know how useful these will be. We can't use that here.
Ah, je pouvais pas prendre la canette, là. Dommage.
This guy's into true crime heavy duty. Whoa. Here's a book by Edwin H. Sutherland, late great criminologist.
I don't have anything else to tell you right now.
Ok.
Guy greets us with the warmth of a cobra, but check this out. It's like he's our biggest fan.
Bon, j'avoue qu'on a été un peu accueillis comme de la merde, hein. Ah.
Damn, Sutherland again. Sicko was at the crime scene before we went back and found the murder weapon.
I don't have anything else to tell you right now.
Bon, je pense qu'il faut aller voir le capitaine pour avoir l'adresse IP. Bon, je pense qu'on a fait tout le tour. On a vu le tableau, l'écran, la canette, les livres. Il veut pas nous parler. Bref, passons à la suite. On va quand même analyser l'empreinte qu'on a trouvée.
Yes?
Voilà. Ça donne rien. Mais il faut le faire.
This case is starting to leak out to the news thanks to our friends at crimechat.com. Tell me you got something good. We can track the computer he posted from. Computer Lab UNLV, classroom building complex, where they teach criminal justice. He's hoping we'll be teaching some creep a class in that real soon.
Youpi, nouveau lieu.
Let's ask the magic screen. Oh yeah, graduate, 10 years back. Criminal justice major.
Voilà, on va lui reposer des questions, du coup.
Well, I can't stop you. Knock yourself out.
Bon, on verra rien plus dedans, mais c'est pour lui poser des questions tranquillou.
Well, sure. Anybody with an alumni card does. I mean, I got library privileges and stuff. You know, it's nice getting something out of going to college.
All right, I'm going to tell you what happened. All you have to do is nod when I'm finished. You have an interest in forensics and started this chat room. Of course, you're hip at posting things from your own computer. Well, that'd be easy to track. You want to post something anonymously, you go to another one, say, a computer on campus. You know your way around there, blend in easy enough, pick a machine away from any others in use, and get off on posting photos of crimes, like the murder you just committed.
Ouah, tu vas fort, Nick, hein.
Are you high? I didn't kill that cop. You can't think that I'd do something like that. I'm into solving crimes, not committing them.
Maybe
Et
you
on a
want
une animation, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, please. Give me a break. I didn't kill anybody. Right? I would never kill anybody. Those Sutherland postings, those aren't mine.
Really? Don't you have access to the college computer lab?
No. My alumni card doesn't take me that far. I would need a computer account. It's extra. Check it out, you'll see. Quit guessing. Stick to the facts. That's what CSIs do, right?
Cracking a simple university login. That's what hackers do, right? You're a computer guy. By the way, don't leave town. You're still a suspect.
Ouais, calme-toi, Nick, ça y est.
I'm a grad. Starts and ends there.
Ah oui, t'es informaticien, tu sais craquer des codes. Non. Marche pas comme ça.
Professor Franklin? That you?
Nick? Nick Stokes? Well, look at you. I'd ask how you are, but that's obvious.
I thought you were still at Rice, sir. I didn't know you were at UNLV.
Class is out, Nick. You don't have to call me sir. Department here had an opening in theory reconstruction. How could I refuse?
Well, you wrote the book. Literally. You'd be a boon to any faculty.
Very kind of you to say, Nick. Especially since you're not fishing for a grade. This time. And I understood you to be working in Dallas. CSI Level 1. Problems?
No, I could have stayed, but it was time for a change. You know, and the chance to work with Gil Grissom.
And to get out of the shadow of a certain Supreme Court justice also named Stokes?
Maybe just a little.
Have to envy you, my boy. Working in the field, solving real crimes. Not some premature fossil working the academia beat for 25 years.
Decent CSIs aren't that hard to come by. Now, great teachers, that's a rarity.
You do my self-esteem a world of good, Nick. But that's not why you dropped by, is it?
I wish. Thing is, we have a cop killing. And believe it or not, there's a link to the university.
Enfin, ils arrêtent de se
You
passer
can
de la
help by
pommade.
answering a few questions.
This one, right here. Earlier in the day, I couldn't say, but I just met with a student, John Laskin, going over some coursework. And he was on that machine. Not to tell you how to do your work, but dusting for prints would be rather pointless, with all the traffic in here.
Oh, ça aurait été dommage, hein. J'aurais bien aimé, moi, récupérer 10 000
Laskin has
empreintes.
been digging into various unsolved crimes. Promising student, bright, doing well in my course. I believe he lives on campus. Surely your department has access to the university's housing database. Tracking him down should be child's play. Every lab on this floor is strictly for criminal justice students, and the computer lab is reserved for grad school level only. A little surprised you'd have to ask that question. That was my first big success. I wrote the book about that great unsolved case. Do you need my help? If you need to get in for further investigation, I can help. I have keys to the lab and the building itself. 24-hour access.
Somebody's not so good at cleaning up after themselves. But more importantly, we've now found the same brand of soda in both the computer lab and Riley's apartment.
Oui, alors, sauf si c'est du Brescola, je pense que beaucoup de monde boit la même canette, hein. Ah, si c'est une canette de coca, bah, y en a pas qu'un qui boit ça, hein.
It might be hard to get good prints from a can, but it's worth a shot. We can't use that here.
Pourquoi on peut pas prendre les canettes, quoi? Bon, il y a vraiment rien à prendre ici à part ça. C'était plus de la parlotte avec le docteur, le
I
professeur.
can't tell you anything else at this moment.
Professeur Franklin qui doit savoir ça, lacet c'est lacet. Aïe, elle est gratuite celle-là. Bon, eh ben on va analyser les petites preuves qu'on a trouvées, à savoir les empreintes.
Hey guys, what's up?
Alors c'est vraiment une enquête où on est un peu avare en preuve. Hein. Alors ça a l'air de matcher, on voit les trucs, mais... Voilà. Donc quand il n'y a plus rien à faire, on appelle le Captain Brass.
And what have we learned at the university? No problem. Mr. Laskin is a criminal justice grad student. No publications. Lives on campus. Oh yeah, we'll enroll him in my class.
Now this is something. You know, studying this stuff is one thing. Books, abstract theory, famous cases. But this? A real interrogation room? Real CSIs.
Real murder. You want to help?
Absolutely.
T'as
Interrogate
trop
away.
une tête de tueur, toi. Avec le petit trait au milieu. Trop mignon.
Why? You find threads or something?
Ouais, non, c'était...
Well, sure, no problem, but just be careful. I'm just a guy scratching by on a partial scholarship. Don't have much of a clothes budget.
Tu peux pas le considérer comme coupable, lui.
I log on now and then, but like any chat room, it's just people BSing. I got mounds of coursework, plus I'm a TA, you know, supervising labs. Not much free time. Monitoring a midterm. Intro to corrections, 30 undergrads. Hey, does this mean I'm a suspect? Cool. I mean, since I didn't do it, cool.
Ouais.
This is like field research. Hey, it sounds dry, but it's fascinating stuff. A longitudinal study of criminal investigators and pathologists who've worked long-term on unsolved cases. Oh yeah, that's a classic. Unsolved for 30 years, you know. Can't imagine chasing a case for that long. Hey, this was great. Real honor. You find that killer. Drown that sucker in evidence.
Pas de problème.
What do you need?
Eh ben...
Using the microspectrophotometer, we get a fiber match on your red thread, but not a color match. Similar sweater, though. Probably an older one. Email from Brass. Sutherland is chatting again. Every cop in town's heading over to UNLV try and catch him in the act. Including you guys. Go already.
Allez, hop, 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 on y va, on y va.
Damn. Well, he was here, and we're here now. So let's process this place like a crime scene.
Il y a vraiment que dalle à voir, sauf un truc.
Like the
Voilà.
Laskin kids, but older. Let's process this baby for evidence, and get it over to Greg. Little white flakes.
Eh, oui.
Probably dandruff from the owner. We can't use that here. We can't use that here.
Bon, alors il faut enlever, voilà. Il faut louper. Donc regardez avec la loupe. Et on a ramassé des petites pellicules. Et on ramasse le gilet. Et il n'y a rien d'autre à voir, puisque la canette, on l'a déjà vu. Et le plancton à côté, il sert strictement à rien.
We can't use that here.
C'est pas une mission très folle en fait, celle-là. Hein. Il y a...
Yes?
Oula, il a bugué.
I'll warm up the thermocycler to amplify the DNA on this dandruff flake. but I need some suspect samples for comparison. Now this sample does match the thread on the tire iron. Find the guy who used to be inside the sweater. You got yourself a link to the crime scene.
Impeccable ça. Nous devons donc trouver des échantillons ADN.
Yeah, just because this guy was Nick's teacher doesn't give him a pass. Go back out to that school and see what his DNA teaches us. We got plenty on him for a warrant. Go to his place and get your sample. Laskin's alibi checked out. He was supervising an exam. Cross this guy off the suspect list.
Allez, ça c'est fait. Il en reste plus que 2.
So, it's not enough you make me aid and abet you guys invading my website visitors' privacy. You gotta invade the inside of my mouth too?
Et tu tombes heureux que c'est pas à l'intérieur d'autre chose, mon gars. Hein?
Any other indignities while you're at it? Full cavity search maybe?
Oui,
You got the gloves for it.
tout à fait, c'est ce que j'allais dire en plus. Mais pas de problème, je sors les gants. Quel charmant monsieur.
Well, in my office, marking some papers.
Can anyone substantiate that? A teaching assistant, maybe? A fellow professor that dropped by?
No. I go to my office at that hour specifically for solitude. I was quite alone. Just what I read in the news. My phone has been ringing off the hook. Reporters asking me to comment due to my expertise with the Deschamps case. Is that why you're here? For what reason? Surely I'm not a suspect in your investigation.
You know how it is, sir. Just covering the bases.
We're back to sir, are we? And what if I said you need a warrant to perform that affront?
I'd say we do have a warrant.
Well, I was just making sure you weren't getting sloppy, Nick.
Bah voyons.
You know, taking advantage of our... Anyway, go right ahead.
Eh ben oui, mon gros. Hein. Croyez échapper à ça? Non mais...
Hey guys, what's up? I compared Riley's DNA to the dandruff flake. That flake is not your guy. The professor's DNA markers match the dandruff sample.
Ooh.
Looks like the next class Franklin teaches is going to be high school equivalency to the other inmates.
Nous avons donc fait le tour. Ah, il met une petite exclamation. Oh, ça correspond au fil sur le de mon
What
poulet.
can I do for you? The prof's DNA matches the dandruff on the sweater. Sweater fiber matches the thread snagged on the tire iron. No more playing hooky from justice for this creep. Let's get him.
Finally, I'm being asked to consult on this case, being the expert and all. Frankly, I'd expected you to call sooner, but I'm happy to help you now.
Sure. Consult with us on this cop killing. Consider the evidence.
Which all points in your direction, Professor.
I believe that's mine. Getting a little long in the tooth, but then who among us isn't? Throw it away if you like.
Alors là, ça allait très très vite, mais il se faisait appeler professeur Sutherland. Hein. Et là, c'est Franklin.
the
Vous allez
Deschamps
comprendre.
case. A true classic in the annals of unsolved crimes. I'm the great expert on the case, and even I couldn't come up with a solution. Not a single worthwhile clue was found. The proverbial perfect crime. Oh, certainly not. No fiber was found at the Deschamps crime scene.
Not at the Deschamps crime scene, but at the Garvey crime scene, sir, there was. On the tire iron.
Young man, you don't need to call me sir. I appreciate the respect, but we're professionals here. Feel free to call me Edwin.
Edwin? As in Edwin Sutherland?
Dun, dun, dun.
You must be new in the field if you don't recognize me, young man. Edwin Sutherland, the most acclaimed criminologist of all time.
Ouh la vache.
But then, aren't you a student of that pathetic, isolated old academic? That miserable failure, Professor Franklin.
Ouh.
Oh, this officer who was killed recently. You'd like me to consult on the case? I must admit I've been giving it some thought.
Why don't you share those thoughts with us, Professor? Sutherland?
Glad to, young man. You see, this homicide is quite similar to the classic Deschamps killing. And I must admit, your mentor, Professor Franklin, did some respectable research on that case. For a man of such average capabilities and limited intellect. Or did he? You see, your perpetrator was recreating the Deschamps murder, undoubtedly. The killer would have faked a flat tire and waited for help to come.
Dommage qu'on n'a pas les images, hein.
Even in this tawdry day and
Mais bon.
age, the police serve.
QuickTime, hein, jeu de 2003, sous Windows 10, 11, je sais plus lequel j'ai. Compliqué.
But apparently he didn't notice a tiny thread snagging on the tire iron. The incriminating clue. When he was down, he finished him with a couple of quick rounds to the chest. Fast. Relatively painless.
Oh, oui.
The clues from the Deschamps case, of course, had to be replicated. The killer left a bit of blood near the body. Crudely symbolic pig's blood. Gun under the car, a few pages off the notepad. I made sure this was clear by publishing my findings on that quaint crimechat.com. But one must wonder how he would have so intimately known the details surrounding the original crime. Could he have been responsible for both?
Bonne question.
Nick? Nick? Seeing you, it's like seeing my own ghost. My own long-lost conscience.
Something you want to get off your chest, Professor?
I just can't live with it anymore. My entire career, built on one great lie. I was just starting out, wanting to make a name for myself, but you must understand. It was theoretical.
What was, Professor?
Killing that officer.
Garvey?
Deschamps. I wanted to see a crime from the inside out. I suppose every criminalist ponders the perfect crime. It was motiveless. Or at least the motive was so obscure that... Anyway, I did it. All those years ago.
You killed Officer Deschamps and built your reputation as an expert on a crime you committed yourself. And now you've done it again. What, try and recapture some of that old glory?
Yes. Yes. Nick, please. I couldn't help myself. Please, do something. Make sure I never do anything like this again. Help me.
Professor, we'll see what we can do.
I just reviewed the notes on
Voilà, la fin de l'enquête est un peu spéciale. Hein. C'est une schizophrénie qui a du coup résolu l'enquête.
But it was your skills that bridged their gap and exposed Franklin for who he really was. Good job. Now let's evaluate your performance for this case.
Attention, bim, 100%.
You investigated every possible angle on this case. It doesn't happen often. I'm impressed.
Elle n'était pas très dure celle-là, parce que c'est compliqué de rater, hein. Tout est assez visible, très peu d'indices sont cachés, faut juste penser aux canettes et c'est tout quoi. Voilà, donc elle était assez facile cette mission. Vous allez voir que les deux suivantes sont assez costauds. Clairement, vous pouvez rater plein de choses, car il y aura une petite subtilité dans la quatrième qui va servir pour notre mission. Voilà, j'espère que cette petite enquête vous aura plu. Assez facile à finir, toutefois. Si vous avez aimé, n'hésitez pas à commenter, à partager et à vous abonner. D'ici là, je vous souhaite une bonne journée et bon jeu. Salut!